Hello, and welcome to Not Ratropolis. Can you believe this? New content for the YouTube? Welcome to Stoneshard. Stoneshard is like an old school style dungeon crawler, very CRPG, very unforgiving, very brutal. We're gonna learn it together. So I'll give you the brief intro of my experience with this game. I've watched a few people play it a little bit. I went back and forth on if I wanted to stream it, and then it clicked. This is great YouTube content. This is a game that I don't think I would want to play as a 5 to 6 hour sit down and play sort of game. But, 20 to 30 minutes a day of Stoneshard, maybe longer because I do really like it. Seems good. I think that this fits the YouTube formatting a lot more, so I hope that you also feel that way and enjoy it. If you enjoy this episode, I'm going to hit you with the little drop me a like down below at the start, because episode 1s are the most important episodes to a series, so, feel free, if you don't mind. My experience, I played through the tutorial, and after I finished the tutorial, I went, oh, I want to do something with this game. I want to make some content. This is very fun. This isn't something I want to just play for myself. So I'm going to start a new game. We're going to play through the tutorial here. I'm going to probably cut these up into level... We're going to start a new game. Probably cut these up into like 20-minute episodes or so.
Damn it. Where am I?
You are awake, just in time for the ritual. We'll have a use for you so very soon.
What's this dude's teeth?
Don't try anything funny or you'll end up like one of your friends. Perhaps I should check on him again. All that fresh blood, that must have drained by now.
I'm going to turn this up slightly, I think.
Like we won that fight. I need to get out of here before this bastard returns. Looks like my shackles are rusted to the core.
I gotta move my keyboard a little bit. I'm gonna do a few things here. Settings, let me go to sound. If it's like a little low for me, that means it's very hard for you to hear, I would imagine. And then, so I know the controls. Open the inventory. I know the controls. I'll read off the prompts to you here, though. Inventory. Here you can manage your equipment and move items. It can be done in a number of ways, using your mouse to drag an item, choosing the corresponding option in the context menu, summoned by a right mouse button, or by pressing Alt left mouse button. I'm a click and drag type of player. I'm also just gonna throw these. The tutorial...
Your bad feeling was spot on this time.
The tutorial of this game is extremely information overload, so I'll try to guide you through if you haven't played this game before or you don't know anything about it.
Search him. Bad move. No offense, buddy, but you won't need all these things anymore.
Yeah, robbing the dead, no big deal. Left mouse button to grab or to search, and then there's a button here to take everything, or you can press space. Very much has an inventory Tetris sort of move here. You get to drag and drop your inventory similar to like a Diablo or, what have you. This game has a eat and drink system to state your needs. Hover the mouse over the food and water and summon the context menu. Choose eat and drink. Very simple. I'll let the game do all the explaining. I won't explain too much. But there's a lot that happens early on here. Picking locks, occasionally you'll counterlock doors. To open them, you can use special items, lockpicks, crowbars, or fitting keys. And we got lockpicks off of our dead friend here. If we look, we ate his food, we got his water, and we also got some lockpicks. 3 uses. If you fail an attempt at a lockpick, the lockpick breaks. Otherwise, you get to keep them. Be holding Alt. Alt lets you...
I hope I'm not alone, survivor. Got to arm myself and find the rest.
Alt lets you see what's in the environment. I'm going to spoil it for you. I picked all of these locks my first time. All of these corpses are naked. We're going to take our first weapon, and we're going to break open a barrel or two. The dude went off to the right, so I want to just check and see if there's... classic. If the way I'm supposed to go is to the right, better check what's to the left, right? To the left.
Locked.
Left.
Blood trails are fresh. Looks like everyone was taken somewhere. Seems like I was the only one to be left in the dungeon. That's strange.
So, talk a little bit about formatting here. Once I know there's about to be some more dialogue, so let me allow that to go and then I'll talk.
Get out! You are dead!
Oh yeah, and there's also a bunch of combat. I'll talk about the formatting when we get to the more open style. Stoneshard is a turn-based game where almost every action takes a turn. Enemies only act when your turn ends. Take your time and think your actions through. If necessary, you can skip your turns by pressing space. Kill the guard. To do so, approach him and press left mouse bumper. I'm going to say left mouse bumper a lot. I'm sorry. You can also inspect enemies to learn more about them. Open the enemy's context menu, press right mouse button, and choose the inspect option. So we can look at them. 100% health, 100% energy, arcane resistance, unholy resistance, low sacred resistance. If I was tasked with guarding you, he hasn't been doing a very good job so far. One thing you'll learn about me when we play games like this, I love flavor text like this. I'll probably be checking every enemy's flavor text and reading it. I love that. But basically, we just move around, and I take my turn, then he takes his turn. Move up, hit him, he hits me. Very straightforward combat. There's a big skill system that we will go through, but in the first combat, there's nothing for me to do. He has been defeated. And he dropped a shiv. We can put this in our offhand. We lost some health there. I think it explains the mechanics itself. So I'll let the game do all the explaining.
Bled to death. Such a foolish way to go. Looks like there is a trap. I have to take a look around unless I want to share his fate.
So you often encounter hidden traps. You can discover them passively. Chance to spot a trap is based on your perception. But if you need to know immediately if there's a trap, we get to press this button. Then there's two ways to disarm traps. Either try to disarm it like this, or try to avoid it. It seems like what I understand and what that tutorial will tell you is that you do avoids if you have high agility.
Damn.
Or is it agility? I'm not sure.
Hurts more and more. I need to find something to treat the wound before it festered.
So I think I just clicked through a tutorial there. Essentially, we have an injury. As you fight enemies, you take injuries. Instead of like taking actual health damage, you take injuries to each individual body part. As they get lowered more and more, you take status effects. And also, as your as you take damage to body parts, it lowers your max health. So our leg has been injured at this 44%, and it lowers our max health by 6%. And also you can see, I'll hover over it for a minute here, you take a bunch of debuffs because of the injury, and then as you take damage in combat, you also take pain, which makes you take more damage and has a chance to make you fumble, which basically means you miss or like whiff your attack. I think you can also fumble other things. Okay. Got a bunch of items here. Healing salves.
Can use this to patch up my...
Been injured, open the character menu by pressing C and choose the health tab. Right. And then also open up my inventory. We got a few items. Antidote lowers your intoxication, ups your poison resistance, causes confusion, removes your poisoning. Bandage stops you from bleeding. We're going to use a splint, which treats injuries to body parts. Stabilize injuries retain their negative effect but no longer accumulate pain. When your body part condition is restored to a certain threshold, it will heal completely. To accelerate this process, use a healing salve. These are healing salves. 3 uses. Just heals a specific part of your body. Lower your health, lower your pain threshold. Pain makes healing less effective and can even kill you. If it reaches a high enough numbers, you can get rid of it with a variety of painkillers and ether inhaler, for instance. This is our ether inhaler. Intoxicates you but lowers your pain. My pain is at 42%. I didn't actually do this the first time, but I will do it. Painkillers are toxic and will increase your intoxication. Intoxication is detrimental to your character's condition, and it's incredibly dangerous if it reaches high enough numbers. Inject an antidote to get rid of it. Feel better, but your health is still low. Best way to restore health is to use the rest mode, which is only available out of battle. Resting accelerates your hunger and thirst gain, so it should be used sparingly. This is actually something I didn't do in the tutorial the first time. I have a bad habit of just clicking through shit like that and just going, I'll figure it out. It's a bad habit, I know it is. However, I still do it. We get to choose our weapon of choice. I will tell you, I experimented with these a lot. I think the bow and arrow, in theory, the bow and arrow should be insane, right? But if you don't have specialization for it, you take a big accuracy penalty. 60% down, so you miss a lot of your shots. And we don't get the option of speccing into it in this area. I like the sword, I like the axe. Basically, I like everything else, but I'm not going to take that. I didn't actually take the stick. This does 15 crushing damage with a 5% block and minus 2% fumble chance. This gives you 25 slashing damage, armor penetration, armor damage, body part damage, bleed chance. I mean, the staff just seems like garbage. I'm just going to tell you, this seems terrible compared to the greatsword, because this also this takes 2 inventory or 2 hands. It does lower damage, and you get 5% block chance. Yeah, this is significantly worse. I'm not even going to bring this with. You can also kind of look at the cost of items to see how effective they are, I think. Like, this hatchet seems worse than this sword. No, it's actually more damage. This is one of the things that I was worried about with Stoneshard and why I didn't want to stream it. The early part especially is just a lot of me reading numbers off to you. I'm going to take the greatsword for now. And we're going to rest. I'm going to try and expedite it as much as I can. We're going to go ahead and rest and just get the health back.
That's better. At least I'll live. Time to move.
Indeed. Search other crates. You can move the camera with middle mouse button to better examine large spaces. Highlight the loot around you by holding Alt. Alright. These doors are locked from the other side. And we get a new enemy. So, most important thing, make sure I don't move into... Like, I don't ever want to move into him, right? I want to always make sure I get to go first in combats. Leveled up, each new level allows you to learn a new ability and improve your attributes. Also get stronger by acquiring new abilities and finding better equipment. Attributes have a less distinct effect, slightly improving various aspects of your character. And we get 2 ability points we get to put in however we want. I'm going to take strength. I don't know how much it really matters. I think it's not something that I want to... I'm not super min-maxy when I play games like this.
Bah, a pyromantic treatise. Just like the good old times in the academy. Got to recall a spell or two.
This introduces us to how you learn skills. Abilities aren't initially available for learning. To unlock them, you need to find and read a corresponding treatise. On one of them, this treatise will allow you to begin your study of the pyromancy skill tree. You just gotta read. You gotta read books. Reading, I know, right? I'm not gonna read the books to you. I'm sorry, but this is. I like reading flavor text on enemies. I don't like reading books. Now learn your freshly unlocked abilities. Find pyromancy. Learn pyromancy. You can see here a little taste of how fleshed out these skill trees are, right? I wonder if maybe the rest of these aren't in the game yet. Maybe these are all the things they want us to see. Like the things they want to do. But we just learned Fire Barrage. Targets a tile within 5 range. Costs me 16 energy or mana. Has a cooldown of 4 turns. Launches 3 fire bolts at the target, dealing 6 damage each. They do bonus damage to enemies that are burning. It was text. Okay, they all have the same text. There's also a chance to set enemies on fire, right? With that ability, as you can probably imagine. This is what I was alluding to. I don't want to move forward here because I move and then he gets to take his turn and he'll hit me. I talked slightly about that. I will read these diary pages because the flavor text for this game is interesting, I think. Monastic book. I'm going to give you the abridged version of the 4 pages here because I did read that one. All of the monks here are basically contracting some sort of disease that turns them into vampires. 10th of Reaping, the miasma of this horrible disease now permeates the entire monastery. Half our brothers are delirious. Their bodies are riddled with scabs and boils. Blood is seeping through their pores, and we can't do anything to ease their suffering. I declared a quarantine in order to lock down everyone who showed signs of the disease in the catacombs, but I fear it's all in vain. The rest will go down sick in a couple days. The host give me strength to persevere and save our congregation. In essence, is fucked. We got some alcohol though, so like, at least they died partying, am I right, fellas? And an hourglass. Also cool. And talk for I stood up in them. I don't remember where to go. So yeah, as I wander around, oh, it's right here. Okay, I'm gonna try and keep these episodes a little shorter than Retropolis, right? I want to kind of aim for 10 to 20, so I'm gonna format these like that. I'm gonna loot this room, and then we're gonna call this episode good to go. Rolls are important items which allow a variety of interactions with your equipment. These are identification, disenchantment, and enchantment. You get to identify items that are unidentified that'll come in play later. You get to disenchant items if they have a garbage curse you don't want, and you get to do a third thing, which is, oh, enchant items. That's the other one. You can start to see how the inventory stacks up also. Geomantic treatise. You gotta micromanage your inventory a little bit, which I actually enjoy. This lets us learn geomancy. We learn, I think, 3 skills from that. I'm gonna read you our last 2 diary pages. 14th of Reaping. Today the entire neighborhood gathered around our monastery. The healer had brought the disease back to Manshire. Blood was leaking from their eyes. They were hopelessly sick. I prohibited anyone to go outside. Then they tried to break in. A few brothers lost their lives, but we managed to push them back from the gates. When the crazed crowd tried to burn us alive along with the building, I had to break the quarantine and bring even the healthy brothers into the catacombs, out of the frying pan and into the fire. And then page 3, soaked in blood. Blood gets into my eyes and drips down onto the parchment. We are doomed. In these sinister depths, even time itself flows differently. I've lost the count of days. When was the last time I left my cell? A couple hours ago? A day? I can't read this. Maybe weeks? I may be the only one who's still alive. Every night I am haunted by visions as the candlelight fades. Shadowy figures step out from the darkness. Their wheedling whispers drive me crazy. The host is silent. The host is deaf to our prayers. The host betrayed us. Where do I seek strength to fight back the temptation, to break the oath? A cure. A cure. All I wish for is a cure. I ask for is what that. Yeah, you can kind of get a little bit of the flavor. This game is a very dark fantasy feel to it, I think. Sorry, I have to record this one in the display capture also, so you may occasionally see a pop-up of my taskbar there every now and then. But yeah, I'm gonna do these episodically. This is where I'm gonna call this episode. I'm gonna try and cut it up more or less into like 10 to 20 minute pieces. And I don't know how long quests are gonna be once we beat the tutorial and move on, but 10 to 20 minutes is probably gonna give me a reasonable stopping point for each one of these. So thanks for watching the pilot episode of Stoneshard. I might put up a second episode alongside this because it's kind of, this one was very much just me reading words to you, which, maybe what I'm gonna do actually is not put this up. And then I'll just explain the intro. I don't know. If you're hearing this, I clearly decided against that. I'm going to end the recording now. Thanks for watching. Leave me a like, drop a comment down below, subscribe if you want more. Daily Stoneshard and Retropolis content now. And I hope you have a good day. I'll see ya.